Hello, welcome to the first edition of DBE TV News for the 2023 academic year. We look forward to bringing you the latest in the basic education sector every week. You can watch us on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. I am Tshegohajo Moagi. In our top stories, President Cyril Ramaphosa addresses the annual Basic Education Lekgotla in Sandton. And praises continue for the matric class of 2022 for their resilience. President Cyril Ramaphosa has wished the matric class of 2022 well as they begin their new academic career. He was speaking at the annual Basic Education Lekgotla, which took place in Sandton. The Lekgotla aims to seek solutions to the rebuilding of the sector following the COVID-19 pandemic and to ensure learners are well equipped for the changing world. The president spoke about the importance of the education system and the sector as a whole.
Basic education is the foundation of any nation's development, as we all know. It is also the foundation of progress and prosperity that we would want to see in any nation. The aspiration laid out in our Constitution to establish a society based on democratic values, social justice, and human rights cannot be achieved without prioritizing education. And if you look at our budget allocation, education is the one sector that gets the highest allocation. Improving the quality of education, or rather the quality of life of all citizens, and freeing the potential and unlocking and unleashing the potential of each person cannot be realized without education at the center of our efforts.
He added that as a country we should continue celebrating achievements made in the basic education department and the performance by the matric class of 2022. Especially those from the rural areas.
Last year, we recorded 80.1% matric pass rate. That was a phenomenal achievement against many odds. This was a 4% improvement on the year before. Despite the impact of COVID, where we had to lock down the country and keep our young people at home, where we closed schools, where there was a learning disruption, where there was curriculum trimming and reorganization, where there were rotational timetables and numerous hurdles. Notwithstanding all that, our learners more than excelled. And we should give those learners a good round of applause for their great achievement. Now, this year's results were particularly pleasing to me in that the performance of learners from poorer schools show the deepening impact of education spending and the social wage more broadly.
Speaking to the theme of the Lekgotla, equipping learners with knowledge and skills for a changing world post-COVID-19 and the three streams model, the president said it was important to ensure learners are equipped for this changing world.
The theme, which focuses on equipping learners with knowledge and skills for a changing world, raises the important issue of whether all learners who enter the basic education system are able to follow the educational paths that best suit them and their aspirations and their dreams and their hopes. If we can provide learners with more choices and better guidance, we should be able to reduce the proportion of learners that drop out. But once we give them more choices, that is when we will, as educators, as parents, as the role players who are given the responsibility to guide these young people, we will know and we will see the signs of these dropout rates, and we will be able to follow through and find out why they are dropping out. The three-stream model is critical if we are to adapt and thrive as a country in the new world of work. The skills that our country needs, the jobs that can grow our economy, and importantly, the avenues for things like entrepreneurship that are so sorely needed, can best be achieved by increasing learner access to technical and vocational subjects.
He added that the three streams model being introduced in the sector is the right direction for the country.
I am going to sign up with this company or that company, and they feel so confident and say, now I have a great opportunity not to be unemployed. So this is precisely that we must be stressing. These subjects that include, and I've met a number of them, agriculture, marine, and nautical science, electrical, civil, and mechanical technologies, amongst others, are the types of subjects that we now want to see spreading in many, many of our schools. These are the vocations our economy sorely needs. They are the kind of vocations that we need to promote and develop if we are able to address the scourge of unemployment in our country. The high numbers of unemployed youth is something no country can afford, but it is even much worse if they are also not in education or training. Now, that training must start at school, and it is that training that will keep young people focused, because they will know that if they have trained in some of these subjects, they are not easily going to join the ranks of the unemployed.
Ramaphosa said that the curricula needs to be responsive to the changing world, and the education sector and system needs to be strengthened.
Never has the imperative been greater for us to forge ahead with curricula that are responsive to the changing needs of our economy and society. Beyond reflecting on the issues facing the basic education sector, our expectations are that the collective expertise at this Lekgotla will help us consolidate what has been achieved so far to strengthen basic education outcomes into the future. And I firmly believe that if there ever was a time when we have a great opportunity to further strengthen education, basic education, this is the time. We've built a really robust system of basic education. And I know a number of people are always tempted to rubbish the system that we've put in place, that we've been building brick by brick and strengthening over time. And this system, which is now producing the pass rate that we now see, and which is now poised to start moving into a number of other areas that are going to meaningfully contribute to the growth of our economy, is a system that we should strengthen more.
To this now, against all odds, the matric class of 2022 continues to be applauded for the 80.1% pass rate. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga announced the second highest pass rate since the dawn of democracy. Minister Motshekga spoke about the resilience and determination of this cohort of learners who were in grade 10 and 11 in 2020 and 2021 respectively when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, leaving them with very little time to complete learning or even complete the curriculum. These learners received the much needed support from the department to ensure they push through the challenges. Tepiso Mugema filed this report.
It was the moment the whole country had been waiting for, the announcement of the matric pass rate for the class of 2022.
The NEC pass rate has consistently been going up from 60% in 2009. It went to 70%, and the matric class of 2022 must be commended for maintaining this trend despite the astronomical challenges they face during the year because of COVID, load shedding. Most students were asking, what are you going to do with load shedding? I said, I'll do what you can do because I'm just as helpless as you are. But we survived. The sporadic service delivery, which are also very depressing in our communities. So program director colleagues, the 2022 NEC exam pass rate has reached 80.1%. The second highest since 2019, which is an improvement of 3.7% from last year. The number of bachelor passes has increased. It's an improvement of 8.9%. The number of diploma passes has improved, so it means there's an improvement to the left and really getting lesser and lesser students passing from the side.
The matric class of 2022 faced many challenges such as load shedding, protests, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic, which the minister has described as depressing, but she also highlighted the uniqueness of this cohort.
Facts show that the class of 2022 is the 15th cohort of learners who sat for the National Senior Certificate and the 9th cohort to be exposed to the CAPS curriculum. They were part, which I think also explains their resilience, that in 2010, they are the first group that was in grade R after it was introduced, because they came into the system in 2011, and in 2010, we started rolling in grade R. So the foundations for learning these young people were exposed to in grade R included motor skills, perceptual skills, problem solving, basic numeracy, self-regulation, executive functioning, and the love for learning. Coincidentally, 2010 was 2 years after the introduction of the National Senior Certificate. So this cohort also presented 12 new subject offerings. They are a group that has been part of the South African Sign Language as a home language, written by 210 learners. They are a cohort that took civil technologies, mechanical technologies, and electric technologies, each with 3 main subjects, as well as technical maths, technical science, and it was presented by 52,095 learners.
She added that it was pleasing to see more and more learners doing well in their exams.
So the number of candidates who passed with a diploma is 197,357, an improvement of 8.9%, which constitutes 26.7%. Then the number of learners who passed with a higher certificate is 108,159, which constitutes 14.9%, an improvement on 4.1%. And the number of candidates who passed with an endorsement, if people want to say anything negative about what 30% passed, 117. So we're saying 278,815 got bachelors. And we're saying 170, not even 1,000.
The minister said she was pleased that each province had increased their pass rate.
But the spirit is that all provinces have improved, all of them. All of the provinces have improved. And as I say, here, what we are reporting, it's improvement in terms of numerical numbers. But in terms of a comprehensive basket, different provinces are performing at different levels, and that is found in our main report will say which provinces has more kids passed in bachelors, which province has more learners taking maths and science, which province is able to retain more learners as compared to the others. This is a percentage in terms of numbers, so it's only one criteria that we're using, but we've used it, so let's continue on the trend until such time we're able to report also on this comprehensive basket. The Free State in the data again is leading at 88.5%. Repeat it at 2.8%. Gauteng, the children performed at 84.4%, which is an increase of 1.6% from 2021. And the KwaZulu surprise, it had the biggest improvement at 6.2% from last year, which put them at 83%. The Western Cape comes next at 81.4%, again with an increase of 0.2% from last year. Northwest, the new MEC, it has also improved with 1.6%, which puts Northwest at 79.8%. The third best improved province that took out is the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape. It has achieved 77.3%, which is an improvement of 4.2%. In Mpumalanga, MEC Majuba achieved 76.8%, which is an increase of 2.9%. The Northern Cape achieved 74.2%, which is an increase of 2.7%. And Limpopo is the second best improved province and has achieved what it has been threatening us, that they're going to go out of the 60s, they're going to the 70s. So Limpopo stands at 72.1% with an improvement of 5.3%.
To the class of 2022, congratulations. Remember, if you are not satisfied and would like to improve your results, you can register for the Second Chance Matric Support Program in order to rewrite your matric. Register on eservices.gov.za. Tepisa Magema reporting for DBE TV News in Johannesburg.
When we return, we hear more from 3 provinces following the matric class of 2022 announcement.
Now that you've received your 2022 matric results, it's time to continue with your education plans. If you passed, congratulations. However, if you're not satisfied with your results, there's always a second chance to write your matric. Go to your nearest education district office to register or log in to e-services.gov.za.
For the 7th time, the Free State Education Department has managed to retain its top position as the best performing province in the country. The matric class of 2022 in that province achieved 88.5%, an increase of 2.8% from 2021, with over 45,000 full-time candidates sitting for the National Senior Certificate. The province held a well-done ceremony for the top achievers, attended by MEC Dr. Tate Mahwe and Premier Sisi Ndombela. Dr. Mahwe said all schools in the province are doing well, but he especially congratulated township schools for their performance despite challenges they face.
When I looked in terms of the learners from quintile 1, 2, 3 schools, learners who have been written off by academicians, learners where professors write beautiful papers and say there's problems in the townships. These learners themselves, if you look at the average pass rate of the learners in quintile 1, 2, 3, the average pass rate was 88% and bachelor rate was 40%. So we have done well. And I think that Mokhobo, if he's here, he would remember that we said we are closing the gap. I was always excited by the education system of Singapore, where people choose schools, not because this school performs better than this other one. They may use other things like it's a school of tennis, it's a school of this, whether it's private or public. But when it comes to performance, the performance is consistent across the board. So the performance is very, very good in the township schools, and we are very, very excited about that.
He went on to commend the learners for their excellent results and thank teachers for being innovative in their way of teaching.
We take this opportunity to commend our top performers and the entire cohort of the class of 2022 for setting the bar high. We have to dig deep mentally and emotionally to find the courage to face the daunting challenges of an altered schooling milieu of the past 3 years. This truly deserves a resounding round of applause. In their quest not to be defeated by load shedding, some teachers have developed an innovative way of teaching, making sure that they use their teaching time during the day and when the lights were on optimal. They made copies for lessons which the learners can use during the power outages. And this is what the culture we have in the Department of Education. We don't praise the problem, we solve the problem. We used WhatsApp platforms to communicate and elucidate some concepts to learners. The initiatives of schools and teachers to continue with teaching and learning during the load shedding is testimony to the commitment of our teachers, learners, as well as the support of our parents to pivot and adapt to material conditions they find themselves in. From the bottom of my heart, I take this opportunity to thank our teachers, principals, parents, circuit managers, subject advisors, and everybody, districts, for putting the interests of our learners first.
Premier Sisi Ntombela says she is pleased that the Free State has retained its top position in the country, adding that it was due to the solid foundation in the province that has put in place in the education sector.
It's a great honor to once again be sitting before you as a premier of the home of champions. Last year, on this very same podium, when we celebrated the achievement of the class of 2021, we made a promise that we will once again become the best performing province when the grade 12 results for the class of 2022 are announced. And indeed, we made that promise, not out of arrogance, but informed by the solid foundation that we have laid, which allows us to perform the excellence from our learners.
Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane also praised the resilience and hard work of the matric class of 2022. Despite finding themselves once again in second place, the province achieved 84.4%, an increase of 1.6% from 2021. Speaking during an awards ceremony for the top achievers, Chilwane said the education system in the province is complex and diverse, and the only province to offer all 11 official languages in the country.
It is without doubt that the 2022 academic year will be remembered as the year that not only presented many challenges, but a year when the entire world continues to be engulfed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects thereof. The provincial government, through the Education Department and its strategic partners, continue to work tirelessly to strike a balance between containing the impact of the pandemic and the 2022 academic year, which has to continue. Premier and guests, despite a difficult environment arising from a rapidly growing system and tough economic conditions, the Gauteng Department of Education registered significant achievement in the delivery of quality basic education through its programs and interventions in the 2022 academic year. Despite severe budget pressures and the prevailing material conditions, we have indeed delivered on our core mandate. As we celebrate the class of 2022 with much pride and excitement, it is only fitting to recognize that our successes are attributable to our collective commitment to growing Gauteng together. It is in this regard, I reiterate that it is our commitment to pursue a quality, equitable, and inclusive basic education system for all young people of our province.
Meanwhile, the Eastern Cape Education Department has congratulated the matric class of 2022 for achieving a 77.3% pass rate, an increase of 4.2%, making it the third best improved province in the country. Minister Angie Motshekga said she's pleased to see this improvement from that province, especially with the challenges the province has daily. Speaking during a media briefing, Education MEC Fundile Gade said the province is proud of the hard work put in by the learners and the teachers.
In terms of the provincial overall pass rate, however, the class of 2022 did us proud with 77.3 pass rate percentage, a 4.3 improvement from 73 pass rate of the class 21. Given the high enrollment in the class of 2022, the total number of children that passed the national senior certificates stands at 73,386, making it 6,616 more learners passing in 2022 compared to 2021. In terms of the bachelor passes, the number of bachelor passes increased by 2.5% from 34.3 in 2021 to 36.8 in 2022. In real terms, it means 34,974 learners have a bachelor pass. 24,465 learners obtained a diploma pass, and 13,923 learners a high certificate pass.
Gade proudly announced that there was no district in the province that performed below 70% for this cohort of learners.
For the first time in the province, there is no district that performs below 70%, which then indicates that your systems are beginning to mature and your systems are responsive. And equally, it then begins to tell you that the upward trajectory of the province is from below, making sure that you stabilize districts, you stabilize schools, and you stabilize even at the level of the subject teaching.
He added that it was pleasing to show that their strategies as a province has yielded positive results.
Our strategic focus last year was not just about improving the districts and also schools, but which are these subjects that are a killer punch in the province? And which are these subjects that are more a game changer in the province? And if, for example, you are saying we are a province of maths and science, how do you respond to that question? Because the majority of the learners in the province are enrolling in maths and science. In essence, it means for you to break the cycle of underperformance and structured systemic problems of the schooling system in the country in general and in the province, to be precise, you need a specific target strategy for maths and science in the country, not a generic one. How to deal with that question. So I'm then saying that's how this top management has been able to make sure that we get where we are now. And I think the visit SG that this top management was doing around the province, knocking sense with principals of schools, high schools, knocking sense with SGBs, knocking sense with the universities in terms of crafting a strategic output on how to relate the basic education and and higher education throughput that we need. Because if there is no dialectic link between the two, you run a risk of not getting what we want.
Coming up next, we travel with the Minister and Deputy Minister as they visit various schools as the 2023 academic year got underway.
Research is showing that NSFAS supporting students on average are performing better than non-NSFAS supported students, which is also something that is very important because it says this almost complete wraparound program by government of NSFAS students is become very important. Also, the change from NSFAS being a loan to being a bursary has also made a very big difference because it has now even opened access to students, even in those institutions that were unaffordable in the earlier phase of NSFAS. Universities that have been more expensive, like University of Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Wits University, Pretoria, there's been a huge increase of the numbers of black students from poor families directly as a result of NSFAS and the kinds of difference that it has actually made.
It's been a busy start to the 2023 academic year as learners went back to school. First up were the inland schools, Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Free State and the Northwest provinces, opening their gates on the 11th of January. A week later, coastal schools in the Western Cape, the Eastern Cape, the Northern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal provinces welcomed learners to class. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga and Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Mhaule visited various schools to ensure all was going well. Baseka Mahlangu has more.
Minister Angie Motshekga started her monitoring visits on Wednesday, the 11th of January at Cosmo City Primary School in Johannesburg, North Gauteng. She used the time to thank parents for trusting the basic education system with their children. She also addressed the issues of infrastructure at the school.
Every day because there's overcrowding. There's not enough school furniture because there's overcrowding. So we've discussed with the school, we'll attend to it, and as I said earlier, we also have a national program where we are working with provinces to make sure that we can assist them with overcrowding. Overcrowding has become a national problem nationally in all our urban areas. And we have agreed with with Cabinet, with Treasury, that we must get money to deal with overcrowding in schools because it's going to undermine everything that we do.
She then went on to Sunrise Secondary School where she encouraged the matric class of 2023. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister Dr. Regina Mhaule visited various schools in the Limpopo province. She was joined by the Provincial MEC of Transport and Community Safety, Florence Radzilani. The Deputy Minister urged learners to not be badly influenced by others.
Respect yourself. Number one, respect yourself. When you respect yourself, you take that self-respect, you respect others. You respect your teachers. You come to school every day. You don't miss a period. You respect your teachers. You take your teachers as your biological parents because they are here for you. Just like Mutswadi wa hao, agar libona ba perfect, batswadi ba rena ko hae, agar libona ba perfect. Why would you expect our teachers to be 100%? Why now 100%? Ngabona muthu wa leng 100%. Lina, I'm not 100%. So let's not expect 100%. Use that 50%, that good, that 50% good from your teacher and take it. And don't focus on the negative things. And avoid negative friends. Avoid lazy friends. Avoid stubborn friends. Other friends are there to destroy you.
Motshekga also visited secondary and primary schools in Ekurhuleni, Gauteng. She was accompanied by the Provincial Education MEC, Matume Chilwane. She addressed the matric class of 2023, urging them to not get into drugs.
There is nothing that drugs can do for you except destroy you. Nothing. There is no success, nothing. What's called easy? Zoba dizzy 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So don't ever treat yourself with your taster. It's very addictive and it's going to finish you and it's going to create lots of difficulties for you. So don't even try it. More tried than Yakada Amos Tandasela, Puma. I think in Sangongan, I always tell them, principal, I also grew up in a township like you. Masabeba, Darababa, La Manjinia was some vumi drugs, the ones Lumsebens was. So I'm really appealing to our kids. Get out of them. Ziegen, Usakanya, because there is no way. Take it from me, there is no way. It's only down the drain.
She then went on to motivate them on how to best succeed in the final year in the basic education system.
So this year, all you can do is to invest all the time you have. You arrive early. You must be ready for grade 12. It must be late comers, but now we're 18. I be ready for the future. After school, say your phone on Yamalele, because them for my toilet, I shoot the 12 years they waste. You must be more exemplary. Let's say, indlela zethu ziyahlukana this year and masihlukaneni kahle singanibiza ama-failure ka-2023 angithi into ama-failure saka-2023 you don't want to be done that. You don't want that. You want to look, you have invested your time, you've been here forever. And to my girls, bantwana bam, unokopona mehlo ngikobusiyere ejwanga uyakhala mawuthi uyahamba but ayahamba nayo yabanje ukuthi nestyle into zakho nje ziyamoshakala ne ngoba uzothoba gogo abafana nogogo nje abafuna ukusena abantwana ngithi nabo fanti bahambe baye ema-society bathi manje uzazolanda umthwalo ulethela thina la endlini makhona okuthandayo makakumela ngithi bantwana bami angathi ngikuqhwise mthwalo udini utlo uqhwisa kuhloko hot usikamuqhwisa next
The Deputy Minister had this message to all learners as schools reopened.
We are saying to all the learners, especially the new learners, grade 1 and grade 8, who are coming to new schools, to say we welcome them and welcome all the learners. We say Happy New Year.